Hi guys, welcome back to Marantz Rantz. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth, no financial advice, one take session, no edits, no cuts. Private equity, you get it, leverage buyouts, all the nonsense. Connecting the dots, part 26. This is a revisit on MULN Automotive. Dug a little deep here, guys, putting all the pieces together, figuring it out, just for all the guys out there that need the help. Now, walk with me. Like I said, no edits, no cuts. Let's roll. This is Financial Journey. He's on the right-hand side. His name's Cal. Cal, I didn't mean to get you this way with your eyes closed that way. You just blink really slow. But this is your interview here with David Mitri. I want everyone to pay attention. There's going to be an edit and a cut in there. I had nothing to do with it. It's your interview. But that's when he stops. He's not really making sense. But I want to touch on what he's talking about. So let's go for it from here. Let's go.
And you got cash. By the way, how many guys actually have cash? Last time I checked, a lot of the guys are filing announcements that they don't have any cash, that they may go out of business. We're telling people we got years of cash. We're not going anywhere, but yet we are being priced as if we're going out of business. How the hell can you price us as if we're going out of business when we just told you we're not? And we just told you we have plenty of capital. And we just today showed you we're delivering product. We want to get the vehicles rolling off the lines. We want to deliver to customers. We're focused right now on building a network to be able to, do all the things that we need to do after you sell a car, right? People forget. People just want to sell a car. They forget about the most important thing: service, warranty. Right, you got to be able to do all of these things, and as we announced publicly previously, we have a solution for that. So, again, time will tell. I always tell people, don't judge us based on what you see today. Judge us based on the accomplishments and the results. If we perform and we do well, then you reward us by increased valuation and appreciation in stock price.
Well, David.
Sorry, I had to pause it there. Remember, no edits, no cuts. I don't care. Cal, like I said, you always have your eyes closed, bro. Maybe you just can't see what's coming, but we'll go from here. So he's asking everyone, why is no one pricing this correctly? Why is the price coming down? We're loaded with cash. Well, the truth is, David, whenever you're in this business of EV vehicles that I've been paying attention to, it's been going on for over a decade, but I've been doing my homework on it. And you can see here that you leveraged your company before it ever began. As it went public, you leveraged yourself $30 million equity line of credit. And that was to the ISOSA. I hope I say that right. ISOSA, right? So that's how you did it. You're taking in $2.5 million per month, but what'd you give up? Your company, essentially. And that's what's happening. That's what people see. So as you do this line of credit and the agreement of it, we're going to go down to the risk factors. And I want to read this to you because, David, you signed off on this. You should know what the risk factors are, and then you can answer your own question. And it says here, the issuance of common stock to ISOSA in accordance with the equity line of credit will have a dilutive impact on our stockholders, and such impact may be significant. As a result, the market price of our common stock could decline. In addition, the lower our stock price is at each closing under the terms of the equity line of credit, the more shares of common stock will have to be issued to ISOSA. So the lower it goes, they get more shares. If our stock prices decreases, then our existing shareholders will experience greater dilution. So as the stock price goes down, they're still getting $2.5 million worth of stock. They're giving you the $2.5 million each month. And as that price keeps coming down, guess what they're doing? They're taking more shares and more shares. Therefore, you're giving up a bigger percentage, but they can't own more than 9.9. So what do you have to do? You have to dilute more to stick with the SPA, right? And that's the securities purchase agreement that they have along with the equity agreement. So this equity line of credit is one thing, but it's a double-edged sword for you. Well, not you personally, but for shareholders. And that's what we find out here, right? So the perceived risk of dilution may cause our shareholders to sell their shares, which may cause a decline in price of our common stock. So when you ask yourself, why are we not being evaluated correctly? It's because you didn't evaluate yourself correctly. You gave yourself an evaluation of what, $30 million? I mean, because this is what you're selling off, the whole thing, to reverse stock split it and go back. But remember, guys, and I'll touch on the rest of it later, but let's go down. We'll keep going down. How about that? because this is the best part. Our commitment to issue shares of common stock pursuant to the equity line of credit has the potential to cause significant downward pressure on price of our common stock. In such an environment, short sellers may exaggerate any decline of our stock price. If there are significant short sales of our common stock, a share price of our common stock may decline more than it would in an environment without such activity. This may cause our holders of our common stock to sell their shares immediately. If there are many more shares of common stock on the market for sale than the market will absorb, the price of the common shares will likely decline. The selling of stockholders, including ESOSA, listen what you're saying here. The selling of the stockholders, including ESOSA, may participate in short sales of the common stock. Therefore, they're getting the dilutive stock, right? And then they're shorting it to drop the price even lower so they get more. And you wonder why they own the company. Are you oblivious to this? You committed suicide on your company yourself, and you lined your pockets while you do it. This is the risks that's associated with doing it this way. They may enter into hedging transactions with broker-dealers, which may engage in short sales of the shares of the common stock. Of course, hedging in positions they assume, the selling short sellers may also sell shares of common stock short and deliver shares, blah, 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 blah. What this is all telling you is that they may sell off the minute they get the shares, therefore dropping it immediately and in turn forcing you to give them more. Which makes sense, right? Wouldn't you do that if you're ESOSA? But we're going to talk about who is ESOSA, and we're going to talk about how you're doing this, because you're just riding the gravy train, and I'll give you my thesis at the end, but or my synopsis or my conclusion, or however they want to say it these days. I don't do science projects, brother. I'm just letting you know. ESOSA will pay less than the prevailing market price for the common stock. Oh, now you're giving them a pipe deal. And we've talked about this before. So they're actually going to pay 5% less than what the actual volume is, because whatever the VWAP was at the time, whenever they're getting issued their shares, they're paying 5% less. So, you did it all the greatest way in the world. And then it says here, we intend to rely on our equity line of credit and near-term capital needs, subject to satisfaction of certain conditions, including condition registration settlement, for which these prospectus is a part of declared effective by the SEC. ESOSA will purchase $30 million worth of shares of common stock over the 12-month period. So over the 12-month period, you diluted your company and your shareholders for $30 million. You personally made $40 million over this time frame, because you even have it written in the bylaws that you're going to get awarded pricing and the amount of shares, 1% of the float every quarter, whatever it may be, but the float's ever increasing, so you're getting more shares. But who the hell is ESOSA, and why are we doing this? Let's find out what we have in front of us. Well, first we're going to go look at Net Element, and if you don't know, Net Element merged with MULN Automotive to create what you currently have right now, MULN Technologies. And if you look here, a technology-driven group specializing in mobile payments, blah, 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 Net Element finalizes debt exchange transaction with Creed Capital Group. This is in 2014, guys. This is back when your boy, MULN Automotive, even just started, okay? And that's David Mitchery and the boys. But Creed Capital, I want to pay attention to this. What did they do? That's Taryn Pizer, guys. Taryn Pizer finalize a debt exchange transaction for Net Element. So he already owned Net Element. They did a debt exchange, and now you know why Net Element merged up with MULN Automotive. They needed somewhere to wash this money, and I'll explain it to you in a minute, but we're going to keep going because it says right here, Creed Capital Group is a personal investment vehicle of Taryn Pizer. Guys, if you don't know who Taryn Pizer is, we've talked about it in previous videos, but you got to educate yourself on this, okay? Taryn Pizer is a known criminal, and I'm not saying allegedly. He's been indicted. Insider trading, securities exchange fraud, you name it. He was with Mike Milken at Drexel Burnham Lambert back in the 80s when the SEC and the government shut them down. He was on the desk with Mike Milken. He is a known criminal, and he associates himself with criminals. And if you look here, the family office, which is Creed Capital, and you're going to scroll on down because you're going to see here, it says the group and the team exist of one executive, guys, Michael Wachs. Okay? Now, I don't even know if that's how you say his last name, Michael Wach. And then the actual board member, the chairman, is Taryn Pizer. Michael Wach and Taryn Pizer, Creed Capital, that's before MULN Automotive. So why do we care about that, guys? Because we're going to go here. We're going to go right now to this This is a case, okay? Richard Josephberg is suing Creed Capital. And I want to make sure that we connect this together. And this other one is called Socius Capital. He's suing them all. And Michael Wachs is in there getting sued with Taryn Pizer. And Rachel Wachs, that's Michael Wachs' wife, by the way. And as you go through this, guys, and you go through this whole court case, you find out that Richard Josephberg, who's suing, he was part of a company. He's selling some stuff to Socius Capital. Watch this. He's selling to Socius Capital, and as he sells to them, Michael Wachs is his boss going to pay him commission for it, and he refuses to pay him. Right? I have the whole doc here, but he refuses to pay him. And he goes, oh, he was paid $1 million for the sale. He's supposed to get 15% of all sales, and that was for $10 million deal. He got $1 million. So then they did an additional deal for $35 million. So he wants to know where's his fee. He earned a fee off of the $12 million, okay, that the company made, and they offered him $60,000, and he didn't take it. They fired him, but guess what? Mr. Wachs got this deal done with whom? Who was it? It was with Taryn Pizer and the Creed Capital Group right here, because that's the new name here. And it says, immediately after Mr. Josephberg's employment was terminated, Socius ceased doing business under that name, and it says carried on future business under the name Creed Capital Group. So Michael Wachs and the crew, they finessed this dude out of his commission money, and they signed a deal. They got it all done. But just so you know, it's absolutely true, because Socius Capital team, who's on that team? Taryn Pizer. So I'm just showing you that they've all done business together. And why? Because you have a new case just this March. Accius Capital, and I don't even know how to say his name, Ideanomics, they go ahead and they do a deal together. And guess what? They went to court, and Accius won. And Michael Wachs right here. Declarations of Michael Wachs. He's still connected to Taryn Pizer. And why? Because they've been to prison. All right. And if you guys don't know, he has been to prison. Michael Wachs has been, I think he got 20 years, or I don't even know what he did. He defrauded, $20 million he defrauded Chase Bank. Then that's widely known. So now that we look at the history of who they are, Taryn Pizer, Michael Wachs, this is why I want you to know this stuff. Because Isosa Holdings, Isosa has the largest position of MULN Automotive. Yes, 500 million shares essentially. And Isosa is who? Michael Wachs. Okay? That's just one man and the whole damn thing. It's him. Now you have Accius Capital. Who is he? Well, he's his partner. And that is the other large shareholder, and that is Taryn Pizer. Okay? And right there, Accius Capital, Taryn Pizer. Now, why am I showing you this? Because I wanted to pay attention to the third largest shareholder. I went through and I dug, and that is right there. That is Davis Rice. Okay. Now, when you look at Davis Rice, and I had to come all the way down here, it's going to tell you, pay attention to Davis Rice. His name is Timothy Davis Rice, TDR. I was like, let me go do some homework. And of course, I found him. So as we go through, here's Cint, all right, CENN, Centro Electronic Group. When you go here, who bought into them? Isosa Holdings bought into them. Yeah. So Michael Wachs buys into Cent. All right, Cent, CENN, formerly Naked Group, whatever. But Michael Wachs is the guy who bought into them. All right, guys, you guys paying attention? Go to Centro. Centro announces key changes on the board of directors. Do you know who's on the board of directors for Centro? Just curious. You should, because it's JDR, Justin Davis Rice. His brother is TDR, Timothy Davis Rice. Now do you get it? These guys have been doing deals via CENN, CENN. They also did MULN Automotive. And they have another one that I found. I just found it right now. And it's BRQS over here. But look at the path of all these stocks. This is BRQS over here. This is CENN, CENN. And this is MULN Automotive. They're all from sky high all the way down. But the fact that TDR is here in this damn stock, and I want to go back to this listing here. If you look here, you have TDR, who has partnership with Isosa. You have Accius, who is, and Isosa. They're all partners, guys. They've been doing business together for a decade, 2014. Remember that. David Mitchery's along for the ride. He's getting paid just to be this guy, just telling you whatever you want to hear. And I can see it. But now I want to show you something else. We can connect another dot. This is MULN Automotive. And as you look at it, look at the dilution of their company. It's going to be infinite. This is what it used to be, guys. When you guys are buying in down here, talking about we could get a short squeeze, we could do this was your float. Now look at your float. It's infinite, okay? And it's going to go even higher than that, up to 3.3 billion shares. We already talked about that point. But look at the warrants here. The warrants are the things that get me all excited because I read the names on them. And I see Isosa, I see Acus, I see Davis Rice, but then I see this alt lending. And I had to go look, alt lending. Alt lending's on all of them, guys. Alt lending. I'm like, okay, who's alt lending? Well, when you go over here and you look at alt lending, you're going to see down here at the bottom, alt lending's now going to be holding a lot of these, and they're right here, okay? They're in fourth place on holdings currently, and they have all the warrants. All right, they're big. David Katzoff. All right, David, I had to go look you up, baby boy. And when I looked him up, tells you right here, David Katzoff. He actually is DPW Holdings Inc. Diverse Holding Group. Blah blah blah. That's who they are. SPV of Finance. David Katzoff, CFO. Awesome. If you look here, Alt, Alliance, whatever they are, subsidiary of BitNile. When you go through BitNile, who's partnered up with BitNile? Well, you can imagine who buys in on them because I think it's Isosa. Isosa's buying in on them. And DPW Holdings, who bought in for them? Isosa Holdings bought them as well. So helped them out personally and helped out the new. They have a new Bitcoin mining company that they bought into. It does not matter. And then somebody put out there, and they were misleading on Twitter. Somebody said, it's a mining company. No, it's Bitcoin, okay? But still, DPW Holdings gets money from Isosa Holdings. It doesn't even have to be much. They only gave them $150,000, but guess what they bought? They bought favor. They bought favor because that's what they're doing now. That's how they're here. So I want to explain it, and we're going to talk about this part in a little bit because I want to re-educate some people on this stuff. So, well, the unfortunate part is I don't even know if that showed everything because I'm zoomed in on the other screen, huh? Man, I wonder if it did show everything. Probably not. Let me go through it. Hey, no edits, no cuts. I don't care. Hopefully you guys paid attention to the story. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. We're good. That showed. That showed. I'm just seeing, making sure everything can show. That can show. That'll show. That'll show. Yeah, we're good. I don't care, guys. It's connecting the dots. We're connecting them all. All right, cool. So now we're going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to zoom in on this really quick. 5 million shares, what they were talking about as far as what's available to you, and 5.5 million or billion. I'm sorry, 5 billion shares and 5.5 billion because of the 500 billion or 500 million preferred stock. Okay, guys, preferred stock, Class A, currently has 1,000 to 1 is the voting rights. Class B has 25 to 1. Class C has 25 to 1. What does that mean? That means they don't have to dilute this float anymore. They have the power within the preferred shares to get anything passed. So miss me with the nonsense where everyone's telling me that they have to do a reverse stock split because they're afraid of takeover measures and blah, blah, blah. They have the preferred shares there to defend against any takeover whatsoever. And remember this practice, please. Unissued shares, unissued preferred shares do not get reverse stock split. So you can do a reverse stock split as much as you want. The unissued preferred shares do not get reverse stock split. Read my lips. You're being played. And you're being played by Taryn Pizer and Michael Walks. And David Mitchery's painting it up to tell you that they're actually delivering vehicles. But when he said deliver vehicles, chances are Cal said, so you're producing vehicles that you delivered? And if you saw the cut, he didn't even answer that part. He just went on to say, we're lining it up. We're doing great thing. We're doing this. We're doing. No, you're not. You're not. Because this whole thing is a facade. This whole thing's fake. I'm telling you guys, all the money you put in, you will not get back. And all these people telling you that it's going to spike up, it can't. And I'll tell you why it can't do it. Because all these guys are sitting on shares. And the minute the price goes up, they're selling and they're diluting it even down. And I'm not saying they're diluting the stock. They're diluting shareholder equity. You're gonna lose it all. And you can't get it back, guys. Because now that you're down at 10 cents, and that 10-cent rule is going to come into play on NASDAQ, and they're going to be forced into a reverse stock split. They know this, but guess what? They did it to themselves. So in the words of David Mitchery, judge us based off of what we do and our accomplishments. Well, guess what you've accomplished? Zero. Guess what you've done? You've ruined this investment for a lot of people, and guess what? They're going to sue you. And all the things you're doing in court, you're battling, you're paying for it cash. That's shareholder equity. That's the shareholders' cash. They gave you this money, David. It's your responsibility. But you're playing this charade and you've cashed out. You can't do anything about it, guys. You can chalk it up as a loss, but remember this. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you're going to win in life and you're going to win in the stock market once you find out what not to get involved with. And this is one of them. Enjoy, guys. I hope I didn't go too fast. I hope I put it all together for you. I tried to do it under 20 minutes. Appreciate you guys. Get at me. Connecting the Dots Part 26. GameStop. Can't stop, won't stop. GameStop. It's still on the walls. It's what I buy. Peace.